Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another armchair review. Today's subject will be the Transformers Tokyo Show Nemesis Prime. Now, as many of you would have seen, I picked this up a week or so ago, and I did a live unboxing of him and gave you a very brief first impressions of this guy. Now I've had him for a little while, and I've had a bit of a play with him. I thought I'd do a more in-depth review of him, and give everybody my opinion on his character and if he's worth picking up for the price that he is. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I do like this character. I've been after a Nemesis Prime for a while, and this was the one I finally settled on getting. I didn't have this mold. I've never had this mold before. So I thought, it makes sense pick up one that I've not had the mold for. It's not just a repaint of something I already own. And this was the one I settled on. Like I said, I'd made a sale, had a few quid, and so I thought, well, get the one that you think looks the nicest. And it was a toss-up between this one and the what are they calling it? Basically it's the Nemesis Prime repaint of the RID Optimus that is on sale now. And this guy is nice. There are a couple of little niggles, and I think that might be part and parcel with being that it's an older mold. And I mean, he's not the biggest character in the world. Let me see, who have I got to hand? Hold on to his feet there. Yeah, give you a size idea. He's literally only the size of a deluxe, which, he's a fairly well proportioned deluxe, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, he's about the same size as a deluxe. And I think, he is a deluxe figure anyway, but you know what I mean. He's not the biggest character in the world. And that's not a niggle per se. It's just, for the price you're paying a lot of money for a deluxe size figure. And you need to be aware of that before you ever go, if you choose to buy this, you need to be aware that he is only a deluxe size figure. Now, I knew that going in, so that was fine. But yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown. First of all, let me just pop his sword out. Yes, I did manage to get his sword in for those of you who saw the review and saw that I was struggling with that a little bit. It just required a little finagling. A little worried about stressing it, but his hand, that is. Let's see if I can't. Wrong way. Too far. There. So here we are. This is his sword, and I do love this sword. I'll try and get it so that the angle can pick up the fact that you got some nice detailing in the clear red, some nice lines, and it's ridged on both sides. And I think that's an absolutely beautiful sword. Like I say, again, never had this mold before, never really had chance to mess with this mold, of somebody else's either. So yeah, I really do like what I'm seeing here. And yeah, and I like the fact that his sword is integrated, his weapon is integrated into his alt mode, in that if I can get it right. This all folds together, and this becomes his trailer hitch once he's in vehicle mode. But moving on to the man himself, I think this is a gorgeous looking figure. I mean, Nemesis Prime's always had a color scheme that spoke to me anyway, but the design of him is just beautiful. And I love the amount of light piping he's got on him. I haven't really got something that... Oh, hang on, let me see if I can get my phone to work properly and see whether I can just show you just how nice the light piping is on this character. As you can see, you got light piping in the shoulder there. The light piping in his head is... I'm trying to get it so it doesn't wash out the color completely, but you can make it out there. The light piping is not just in the see if I can do it. Can I do it? It's a bit too bright, but you can see that the light piping isn't just in his back there. It's in his shoulders. It's even in the sides of his shoulders there as well. So if you can get him positioned just right under a light source that can hit here, 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 and here, you can get this entire upper part of his body just glowing red. He's even got light piping just here in the bicep as well. So yeah, it's a beautiful piece. Absolutely beautiful. There you go. You can see where the light piping goes in on the sides there, and it glows through here and comes through the front light there and glows through there, obviously. But yeah, this guy is, there we go, that's a bit better, a bit closer, a bit more gorgeous. As you can see, he's got his upside down symbol there, which I think is, again, you know, that's the way he should look. That's the right marking. He shouldn't have a Decepticon symbol in my book. He should have that reversed Autobot symbol. But yeah, I mean, absolutely delightful figure to own and to look at as well. Paint scheme on him is lovely, and that head sculpt is beautiful. That is just a thing of beauty. Now, I will say, like I said, he has a couple of niggly little things that do bother me. And one of them is not the worst thing in the world, but he does have this kibble on the inside of his arm. And whereas I'm not sure what they could have done to improve that, besides perhaps putting another clip in, another joint in here so it could fold around and under the arm, which made it not work quite so well as a door panel when it's transformed. I'm not sure, but yeah, that is irritating a little bit. Like I say, it's a nitpick, but it is an irritant. It is an irritant. But otherwise, yeah, his feet are a bit scrawny, but I've never really been too much bothered by feet. But yeah. The other thing that I have had issues with are his wheels. Now, I'm not quite sure what the crack is. I mean, they're fine when they're like this, when they're in bot mode. But the one of these wheels here swings the one way when you transform it. Here, I'll try and show you. Pops out and swings round and kind of clips into a position where it becomes a wheel, which is fine. The other one goes out the other way and swings round, but never seems to really fit into a position. And as you can see, they're off kilter from one another. One went down, the other one's going up. And whereas you can get it to a position where they're both balanced in the middle, this one doesn't really kind of clip into a position, whereas this one does. This one has like a clip, and it stays there. And this one seems to have the identical clip where it should have the reverse of it. Now, I don't know whether that's just my model or whether that's a common problem with this particular mold, or whether it's a problem just with the Tokyo exclusive one. But as he gets displayed in bot mode predominantly in my home, it's not a big issue. And when he is in vehicle mode, the weight of him sitting on top of the wheel will keep it where it needs to be. And I'll try and show you that in a minute when I do his transformation and go through that. But yeah, I mean, like I say, very niggly. The other niggle I would say I would have would be his transformation is, or can be, a bit fiddly the first few times you go through it. You get the hang of it after a while, and the piece where you have to fit his legs together, again, I'll show you this one. It's in vehicle mode, so you see what I mean. But the piece where you fit his legs together using his weapon, that again can be a little bit tricky. Not tricky per se, but just a little bit fiddly. But yeah, there's a few little bits in his transformation that can be a bit fiddly, or a bit, you never feel like you've quite got them right. They don't clip in and stay where they feel like they should be. But yeah, other than those couple of niggly things, like I said, and yeah, other than that, he's fine. I'll give you a quick rundown of his articulation here. So you've got his head, which is on a ball joint, which I quite like. Not a huge range of motion. Does go all the way around, but you know, it's a nice enough joint for what you've got there. Arms do go full 360 and have come out to about there and going to about there. If you can get his arms straight, it goes in a little closer. It does have also a little joint here, which is part of the transformation that enables his shoulder to kind of come out as well. So if you want to get a bit more dynamic with the shoulders, you can do. Elbow, a little under 90 degrees. Not a lot, but a little under. Does go backwards as well, a little bit. Hand is on a ball joint in there, which means you can get some nice posability. It's also got a hinge at the wrist, which you can see just there. It's a little stiff, which is no bad thing, considering. But yeah, so he's got some nice articulation in there. Does have a waist swivel. Not much of one when he's transformed. I think it's mostly there for transformation. But it does allow a little bit of waist shimmying, and I think if you move his body up a little bit, you can kind of shimmy it around, but it does break up the front here. Legs, ball joint with a reasonable amount of motion in it, you know, not to kick someone in the nuts, and rear back to be able to do it. Knees under 90 degrees. The wheels do get in the way, and I think if you can, or if you choose to, you can pop the wheel out and move it out of the way, and you'll get a little bit more, but it's literally like that much more. So, but it's doable if you wish it. Foot is on a swivel and ball joint at the ankle, so you do get the much loved ankle tilt. So, and you also got a little bit of articulation in the heel. This is part of the transformation, mind, but if you need it, you have some articulation in the heel as well there. Now then, I'm going to take him and get him transformed. And after a almost certainly Yankee jump cut, you'll see him in his vehicle mode. Here we are, one Yankee jump cut later, and here we are. So yes, here he is in vehicle mode. Now, transforming this guy reminded me of a few things that I'd forgotten. For one, my statement about the waist swivel being part of transformation was incorrect. It is not. So, my bad, got that wrong. But yeah, things I didn't get wrong. And things that I've just, through transforming him, have been reminded of. He is, like I said, a bit of an older figure. And the mold has obviously been reused from, it was a Reveal the Shield Prime or Laser Prime, I think it was. I can never remember. Don't quote me on any of those things. But it has some issues. Now, where these legs come together at the back here, obviously you've got the sword in here. And this is acting as his trailer hitch. And that's not a big problem, but just above it, I'm trying to get, there we are. You see here, this grey piece here, which folds over onto these two pieces here. Now, in order to get this to sit down right, as you can see, there are two pegs there and two peg slots, and you have to, this, here you go, I'll show you, easier than anything else. Now, see, here's the other issue with this piece, is the fact that getting it back up is and feels quite dangerous. Yeah, I'll show you. So there you've got these 2 pegs and the 2 slots in there. Now, getting those to go in there in the first place is not the easiest thing in the world without separating all of this, because this does not peg together particularly securely. I mean, it'll stay together. You know, you can wobble it about and stuff, but when you start applying pressure to this piece up here, these 2 legs want to fly apart and drop the sword, and then you've got to restart the entire section again. So you've got to hold that all together while you're trying to push these 2 pegs in. And those 2 pegs don't want to go in there very well. And I try and do it on camera this time. Yeah, they're still not in there quite right. And this leads to the other problem that you have is these mud guards here. They stop the wheels from turning. Unless you get them just right, which I think can only be done by getting those pegs in just right. I've got it right on this side. You know, the wheel will turn now. Now, as you can see here, these 2 wheels very, very close together. These 2 wheels are actually in contact because these are the 2 where the one does not sit quite right. And it's a niggle. And it's a niggle that does bother me, I'll be honest with you. But it's the reason why he stays in robot mode on my shelf. Now, he is gorgeous still. Even in this mode, he still looks beautiful. But he doesn't hold together as well in vehicle mode as he does in robot mode. These door panels like to pop out. These window panels up here like to slide in. And he can get a bit gappy up here. I mean, you can. If you fiddle with him enough and crunch and click him just enough, you can get it all to sit perfectly and he will look beautiful. But it's a lot of effort to do it. And there are probably a lot better ways of this being done, especially today. Like I said, this is a vehicle that is a few years old. The other thing I have an issue with, and again, it's a minor nitpick, is that whereas the front is lovely, it's got all this nice silver and the red here where the light piping goes in and the clear windows and the painted window that isn't far off the clear window if you get it in the right light. But back here, okay, yeah, you've got the light coming through from the sword. There ain't a dab of paint on this back section when he's in vehicle mode. This piece up here, this is all painted, but this is all part of the upper body. The back of the legs, which is the bit of the truck that's on show, not a drop of paint. And these pieces here, which fold over to cover up the gaps that the wheels leave when they are transformed out of there, they don't really do it for me. I mean, okay, yeah, they're probably better than that on display, but there could have been some detailing on there or something. Again, for the price you're paying for this figure. This figure costs £35 for a deluxe size figure. And whereas I do love this character and this figure, in vehicle mode, yeah, it's harder to love in vehicle mode, that's for certain. I do like it, and I'm glad I got it. But yeah, now a friend of mine recommended a good way of giving my recommendations to these toys, rather than just saying, "Oh yeah, I would get it," or "I would get it if you like Nemesis Prime," or get it if you've got the other Combiner Wars figures or whatever, depending on what you're reviewing. He said, and it's quite simple: would you buy it again with hindsight? If you had to buy this figure again, this one got stolen, but they left the exact right amount of money that it cost. They took the figure and they just left you the money. Would you go out and buy this again? And I'm going to be using that as a basis for my opinions on these reviews from this point forward. And I'm going to start off with a no. No, I wouldn't. Am I glad I've got this figure? Yes. Would I recommend somebody who likes this figure, has seen the mold, and the rest of it get it? Sure, if they want to. You know, I would say that in bot mode, this is a lovely figure. And if you don't mind the things that I've just niggled about, that, you know, him not holding together very well in vehicle mode and stuff, absolutely, he's worth getting. But would I personally buy him again? No, I wouldn't. And I can't say that about an awful lot of the Transformers I currently own, because I probably would. But we'll see whether that's actually whether that comes to pass as truth as I go through my reviews from now on. But yes, so that's the Tokyo Toy Show Nemesis Prime, and like I say, very nice figure. In vehicle mode, he does not hold up. In bot mode, he's beautiful. The light piping and the sculpting works brilliantly. But in this mode, I just can't recommend keeping him in this mode unless you've got a specific reason for wanting him like this. It's not a pain in the ass. It's just disappointing is what it is. It's just a disappointment, like I say. But that's me. I like to play with my figures. I suppose that's the other side of things, isn't it? If you're a person who just picks them up, transforms them into the shape that they like the best, and puts them on a shelf, and picks them up to dust them, I could see where this wouldn't, where what would bother me would never bother somebody like that. But I do play with my figures, and that's why I would put him down as a wouldn't buy again. Would recommend to somebody who wanted him, but wouldn't buy him again myself. But yes, thank you very much for everybody for watching. I now have a Facebook. Look at that screen wipe, and I'm not quite in focus even then. Damn. I thought I'd got that right then. Yeah, I now have a Facebook page. Armchair Reviews now has a Facebook page. I'll put a link down in the description below me. So if you have any questions, or you just want to follow what I'm doing, I'm going to be putting up photos of my collection as and when I get them taken. And yeah, if you want to come on there, discuss, I'm going to try and put together just a small community of people who are interested in what's going on with my channel. Like I say, feel free to come on there, start discussions, ask me questions, anything of that nature. Obviously, if you want to just leave me a question and not deal with Facebook, stick one in the comments below. I'll read them as I get to them, and I will address them as and when I get the opportunity to do so. But thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in my next video. Bye-bye.